The Orlando Magic. They suck. They started off the season 8-4, mainly because of some ridiculous shooting that I don't think anybody felt was really going to maintain itself, and that's pretty much what's happened. Vucevic's three-point shot has fallen off. Jonathan Simmons has. Terrence Ross has. Should be noted, Aaron Gordon has actually maintained his outside shooting, and that's something I'm going to talk about in this video. But where do the Magic go from here? I'm not going to really talk about what they can do in terms of lineups and all that with the current team they have, because this season is over. They are 13-31, and you should just forget about any sort of playoff contention, that sort of deal, okay? So I think what we should mainly focus on with these guys is the idea of a rebuild, the idea of committing completely to a rebuild, because they've been trying to be a winning team with guys like Evan Fournier, Nikola Vucevic, Elfrid Payton. They signed veterans like Jonathan Simmons, hoping that they could kind of get better, but then also have like this young core developing. It's not working. You know, I say go all the way on a rebuild. So I think we should just go player by player here. Well, actually, before I do that, let me say Orlando has to do a better job at drafting. If you look at their first round picks ever since Dwight Howard was traded to the Lakers, it is Victor Oladipo, Aaron Gordon, Mario Hezonja, Dario Saric, which then he was traded for Elfrid Payton, Domantas Sabonis, and now Jonathan Isaac. Now, Oladipo ended up becoming something a bit later than Orlando would have hoped. Aaron Gordon just got a three-point shot this season. Hezonja's been a total disaster. Traded for Elfrid Payton, who has proven to be, okay. I don't know if this is a matter of the Magic scouting just simply not being good enough or whatever it may be, but they haven't exactly hit any home runs when it comes to the young players. So they're just going to have to simply be better at that moving forward. As for the players on the team now, I guess we can get to this now, finally. I mean, Aaron Gordon's three-point shot seems like a pretty real thing. And if Gordon is going to combine his athleticism with shooting 37% from outside while attempting 6 a game, then that's great. And then that opens up a lot of options for you in terms of the center who can play next to him. That makes you a pretty dangerous team if you want to put Aaron Gordon at the center position as well. I think he can be a lethal pick and roll player. So you hold on to Aaron Gordon. I think the potential with him is very high, and we're starting to see it now. It's just a matter of if he had a point guard who could really intimidate defenses, because Elfrid Payton doesn't really do that, then that could be something with Gordon. So, you keep him and you just ride it out with him is what I say. And as far as his contract situation, I believe he's going to be getting a payday after this season. I think you do it. Next, if we get to Evan Fournier. Fournier is a good offensive player, but you probably should move him. In a perfect world, you could keep him because he's 25 years old, he's a good shooter, he's not a bad ball handler and all that stuff, but a first-round pick for Fournier may end up being more valuable than Fournier himself. Partially because I don't know who else on this team really gets you a first-round pick. I don't think Vucevic does because he's not a good defensive player. I don't think Elfrid Payton does, and then, Hezonja certainly does not get you a first-round pick. So if you are able to get a first and maybe even something else from Hezonja, you probably do that. Also gives you some salary relief now, or I meant to say Fournier. But now Fournier's contract is up after 2021, because I have to assume he accepts his $17 million player option. That is going to deter some teams from taking him on. You might have to take a bad contract back, but the contract you take back might be on a shorter length than Fournier's is. But you might have to do that, because like I mentioned, who else is going to get you a first-round pick on this team? I don't really see it. Perhaps Vucevic could warrant a first-round pick with some protections, maybe a pick swap where you get a better pick from someone else, although given how bad you are, I don't know who'd be willing to give up a pick that high for Vucevic, so never mind on that one. Who knows? I think there's a way you can trade Vucevic, but I don't think the return's going to be really that great. So mainly it's going to be get as many picks as you can and then just be better in terms of the draft. Now we got to talk about Jonathan Isaac, because I think he and Aaron Gordon are the two guys you look at as some saving graces for this team. I mean, I've talked about Isaac before. I mean, whether he actually plays anymore this season or not, who knows, because apparently he's got an ankle injury of the gods, but I mean, defensively, that dude seems like he's got limitless potential, right? Defend all 5 positions, because is he 7 feet tall? He's 6'10". He looks taller than 6'10" if you see him in game. And I think there's a real possibility that he could grow into being a small forward, power forward, or a center, depending on the matchup. I think he's naturally, his body is more of a power forward's body. His game is maybe even a small forward's game, just because he doesn't seem to be very strong right now. But, if he gets there physically and develops some offensive abilities and becomes the defender I think he can be, then Isaac's going to be really good. Could it create some awkwardness next to Aaron Gordon? Potentially, just because even though Gordon is shooting a lot of threes right now, you would still like to see him rolling to the basket a lot, and Isaac can't shoot right now, so that could potentially cause some problems, but I do think Gordon's outside jumper makes the idea of that look a lot better than it did a few months ago, so that's good. And I think the versatility that Isaac and Gordon have could be really huge. So your starting lineup could end up being Isaac at small forward, Aaron Gordon at power forward, and then someone else at center. But then as the game develops, you can move Gordon to center, you can put Isaac at power forward. Maybe you just start with Gordon at center. I don't know if Gordon is tall enough to do that consistently, play center, but those two together I think offers a lot of versatility. That's what I'm getting at. As far as what they should look to draft, I mean, probably just the best player. I guess if you were looking for a point guard who can intimidate defenses and make Aaron Gordon's job easier, well, then you're looking at Trae Young, because that dude he's just got a lot of Steph Curry in him, pull up threes and contested shots, and it seems like he would warrant a lot of traps on pick and rolls, and that opens up the lane for Aaron Gordon, and then you could do some good things off of that. But at the same time, if Michael Porter is available, if whoever the hell it is, whoever you think the best player is, just go and get him. That's what I would say. I mean, I think Luka Doncic makes a lot of sense for them, because with his passing abilities, he could get Gordon and Isaac and whoever the hell else is going to be on this team some good opportunities. Could have some excitement in transition, alley-oops, all that good stuff. So I don't think there's a bad choice for them towards the top of the draft. I mean, even if it's like DeAndre Ayton and you fear that there could be some spacing issues with Isaac and Gordon and Ayton, just draft him, okay? Like if Ayton could very well average like 15 rebounds a game in his 3rd NBA season. You know what? So go and get that guy and figure it out later. That's usually the mantra. And then, of course, there's Marvin Bagley and all that. Now, they, of course, need to do a better job of determining who the best player is. Now we can talk about Elfrid Payton some, because I think he's still kind of interesting. You could talk me into letting Payton go after this season. You could talk me into re-signing him. There are a lot of better options out there at point guard. Probably not in the NBA right now, but more so in the draft. Because, I mean, if you drafted Trae Young or Luka Doncic, I think both of them could take over the reins. I mean, Doncic's more of a 2-guard, but from what I heard, he's got a lot of ball handling and playmaking abilities, and then, Trae Young's a point guard, so there you go. Basically, what I'm getting at is I like Aaron Gordon, I like Jonathan Isaac, and I think everybody else in this team is expendable. And if you can get first-round picks, do it. And besides that, coaching, the scouting's just got to be better. As far as the head coach, Frank Vogel, I didn't like him a lot last season because he put Aaron Gordon at small forward, and he played Jeff Green when Jeff Green was maybe the worst player in the NBA. Shout out to Jeff Green for not sucking on Cleveland. But, this season, at least everybody's playing where they should be playing. It's just a matter of the talent just isn't really there on either side of the floor. So I think Vogel works. Now, I guess I'll take 2 seconds on this. Is there a chance that they could go the other way with this and they could go all in on acquiring some sort of star player? Well, I don't see who the hell would want to go here in terms of free agency. The only name out there that I could potentially see helping them right away would be Kemba Walker, just because of his shooting at the point guard spot, and he'd give them a lot of pop on offense. If I was Charlotte, I would only do that if you were going to give me Jonathan Isaac, and Orlando really shouldn't do that. On top of Kemba's contract is up after next season, so that's too much of a risk if you're a bad team, so wouldn't really go in that direction if I was Orlando. Go full rebuild, get better at drafting, get as many picks as you can. You get it.